Hi, my name is Kason. I'm now a ukulele instructor. This is week 2, so I guess just to get started, I'll go back over what we did last week. So first was basically just how to hold the ukulele. It's very much how I'm holding it now. Like, you'll take the little indention on the ukulele and you can just rest it over your leg, or if you were standing, you would take this arm and you would hold the ukulele about like in the middle of your arm right there, so you're just holding it and you still have your fingers open to do whatever. Okay. And then after that, we have tuning the ukulele. I am going to tune it with a tuner app on my phone, but I will try to make a separate video about tuning this, tuning the ukulele. So I'll go ahead and get this tuned. So each of the string names, so the one closest to you, that'd be a G, and then going away from you, the next one, that'd be a C, that'd be E, and that one would be A. Okay. So last time we went over just first basic chord, and so I actually had a diagram written out for that one. And so it's a C chord, and basically all you need is your third finger, just one finger, and so you'll place it on the fretboard, which is made of a bunch of these metal bars. And so when placing down your finger on the bars itself, like don't place them on the bars. You want to place them in the spaces between them. So you want to place them just behind them. So if I say play it on the 3rd fret, you want to play it just behind that fret. So if you count the metal bars 1, 2, 3, you'll do it just behind that one. And so when placing down your fingers on them, you don't really want to take, like, I'm trying to think of the best way it says. You don't put your finger flat on the string like that, because that way it's kind of muting out this other string and you can't hear it. It still makes the sound on that string, but it mutes out the other ones, and that's not what you want. So you're going to take like the tip of your finger, just very tip, and just place it on there. Place it hard enough to where it actually makes a sound. If it sounds like that and it's not making any sound, it's just like a little pluck, then that usually means that you're not pushing down hard enough. And so that's the kind of sound you want. And so again, don't place it down, don't put your finger flat on it, take your finger and curve it over to where it's just like a little hook going over onto it. And so once you have that, you'll just strum everything. And with strumming, you don't want to go like under the strings, like don't pull on too hard. You just kind of lay your thumb on top and you push down just a little bit, and then you just push, and then you just move your hand down and it does that. And just make sure everyone knows like what these chord charts are. So basically, it has 4 lines going horizontal, and that basically represents the strings. And so if I were to match this up with the ukulele would be like this. So this bottom line here, that's the string closest to you, that's the G. And so if I take this, basically what I'm seeing is it's basically turned upside down. So the note here, the C, it's at the top of the diagram, so it'd be furthest away from me on the string, furthest away. And so usually some chord charts, they won't always have the string names, and they won't always have the fret numbers. Usually it would just be this, and it'll show you where the chords are. And just bring it a little bit. Just make sure see it. C chord. And in most music books, like guitar books or ukulele books, the chords usually aren't on their sides. They're usually up like this. And again, if you were to match up your ukulele with that, the ukulele would be upright like this. So, again, in most music books, the chords will be like this, but for this, I'm just going to keep them like this because that's the way you're looking at the ukulele. And so after you get your chord, again, use the very tip of your finger and put it on the 3rd fret. You know, put it on the string itself, pushing down. Okay. So I guess now I'm going to just write down some like simple strumming patterns on the board, and I'll go over them with you. Okay. So for the first strumming pattern, this one's just really simple. It's just 4 strums. So you're going to take your C chord, tip your finger on the 3rd fret, and just strum it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now basically just be that's a really simple one. And so it's usually going to be 4 strums, because in music there's a thing called a measure, and a measure is one section of that song. And usually they are made up of, I guess, 4 beats. So having this, so 1, 2, 3, 4, technically this would be on one measure. But if you were to extend from that, then you keep going, it'd be multiple measures. So again, just 1, 2, 3, 4. You could pause it, write this down somewhere, or not, doesn't matter. Okay. So, I guess, so now that we did that one, I'm gonna go ahead and write down a different one. Slightly harder, but not as hard. Alright, here's the next chord shape. So, I guess before I go over this, basically what this is showing is just the strumming pattern. Usually in music, it won't be just this. They'll have the staff, which is made of 5 lines going across. And basically these notes can be placed anywhere. And since we're doing a C, usually in music above the strumming pattern, you just have the chord name. So you'd have that, and then say if it went into a different chord, it might have the same strumming pattern, but it would keep going and it would have that chord name above it, if that makes any sense. Okay, so I guess I'm just going over this. So you see the lines here, they're connected by almost like a rectangle-ish kind of line. And basically what this is, it's an 8th note, or one of them is an 8th note. And basically one of these make up a quarter note. Okay. And so for that, so we did all down strums, but these would be down. I guess I'm going to write down strumming patterns now, real quick. Okay. So I wrote it down, hopefully it's easier to explain now. So basically what we did earlier was just the quarter notes, and that was all the down strums, and down is D and up is U. And so the down up strum, it'd basically just be the regular strum like I showed, and then you take your the back side of your thumb and you'd come back up. So it'd basically be down, up. And so you're doing that 4 times. So it'd be down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And again, these are 8th notes, and they're connected together, and each of them basically makes a chord note. But a chord note is just one sound, to be one, but the 8th notes are 1, 2. And I guess in music, usually you would count up to 4. So you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, but that would be mainly for chord notes. If you have 8th notes like this, all the upstrums, they'd be called and. So you'd go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I guess to demonstrate that, it'd be, so every downstrum would be the number and the upstrums would be and. So it'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And again, we're still on the C chord doing this 3rd fret, tip your finger on the string furthest away from you. And so you can pause this and look over this. I'll be doing this a few more times just so you can go through it with me. So again, that'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I was a little quiet there, so I'm going to do it just a little bit louder. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay. So now I'll just write down a different one. That's again just a little bit more harder, but it's not really that hard. It's pretty simple. So, okay, so I have this one. So this one has a chord note, and then with the 8th notes, and then a chord note and the 8th notes. So basically the strumming pattern, it'd be down, down, up, down, down, up. And like I said, the downs would be the numbers if you're counting, and then the ups would be and. So if you were counting with it, you'd go 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. And so I'll just show you that real quick. And again, it's still the C chord. Tip your finger on the 3rd fret, the string furthest away from you. So this strumming pattern, it'd be down, down, up, down, down, up. And then counting, it'd be 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. And you can pause this, look over it, do it again. I'll keep doing it just so you can go with me. I'll repeat it just a few times. So again, it's 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. And that's another thing. Whenever you're counting in music, once you go up to 4, you're going to go back down to 1 and keep going up to 4, then back down to 1, and so on. And so again, C chord, tip your finger, 3rd fret, string furthest away. And again, this is down, down, up, down, down, up. And then with counting 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Okay. So I guess now I'm going to erase this and write down just a different one. Alright, so now I have the next one. So this strumming pattern is actually very common in ukulele songs. So the strumming pattern would be down, down, up, down, up. And so the count for that, it'd be 1, 2, and 4, and. And so usually, sometimes in songs, if they have the beats written out, they'll sometimes have that note in parentheses. So it'd be 1, 2, and 4, and. And you don't say a 3, and so usually when it's in parentheses, that means you don't really do anything on that. Okay. And then you see I added new symbols up top, and basically what those mean, it basically is the same thing as the down up. So if it goes, it's basically a rectangle without the bottom line, and that basically means a down strum, and then you have a V pointing down. I know it may look like that would be a down strum, but that's actually an up strum. So another easy way to know the symbols for the down up is that this one, it kind of looks like a table, I guess, and it has no side on the bottom, so it's open downwards, and since it's open down, you'd strum down, and the other one is open up, so you would strum up. So I guess to demonstrate this now, again, C chord. So the strumming pattern would be down, down, up, up, down, up. So just to hear that, it'd be down, down, up, down, up. And so I was talking about how you skip the 3 beat in total. So if we wanted to make this just a little bit easier, put just like a rest there. And a rest is basically when you don't play anything. So you'd be going down, down, up, stop, up, down, up. So counting, you would stop on the 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So I'll do that again. So saying the strumming pattern to be down, down, up, down, up. And then with the counting, it'd be 1, 2, and 4, and. You can say the 3 if it helps. Like if you know to stop on that 3, then it would help. So it'd just be 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So this strumming pattern is very common in a lot of ukulele songs. They're usually just a little bit faster, like. And most of the time, there's not usually a rest there. I just kind of put there to help you understand the strumming pattern. And most of them, they kind of let the note before that kind of just ring out. So it's like down, down, up, down, up, kind of. So it'd be down, down, up, down, up. So you can try that again. And remember the cymbals up top, the down, it's open downwards, so you strum down, and then the other one is open upwards, and so that means up. And so that is actually very common in music, especially whenever they show chords. And so whenever they're showing chords, they usually have the strumming pattern sometimes. And I actually have a book example with me. So right here, you can see it. You can see where the example is, and it will have the numbers, count underneath it. It'll have the chord name above, along with the strumming pattern. And again, that's down, down, up, down, up. Remember, down is with the front of your thumb where your fingerprint is, and you'd be going down. And then up is you just bring it back up, starting from furthest away from you, and you'd come up. So down, up. And then the count for this again is 1, 2, and 4, and. And again, you can also say 3 if you want. So down, so 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay. So I guess I'll go ahead and stop, erase this, and try to show you something new. So, alright. So I thought about it. This one is a little bit tricky. So on my phone, I have a metronome. And basically what a metronome is, it's basically just kind of like a clicking sound that helps you keep on beat. So it would click every beat. So I guess just as an example, I'll go ahead and play it. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. And so we're gonna try to use this for this. So I guess first I'll count it. So it'd be 1, 2, and 4, and. So with the metronome, you can try this with me. You can pause it, look over this, and just try to practice it. Make sure you get the strumming pattern first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, down, down, up, up, down, up. So as you could hear there, for the rest, you would let the metronome click, and then you would go away from that. And so whenever the metronome is going, you can sometimes get it to where it's 8 clicks per measure, but usually you'll have 4. And so all the down strums will be on, they're usually on the actual click, and the up strums are in between the clicks. So 4. So it'd be down, up, down, and down, up, down. So the clicking, the clicking is basically where you do the down strums, and the up is in between them. So you would hear the click, and then do an up strum, and then there'd be another click after that. So I guess going over this again, so it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 4, and again the and beats, they're in between the clicks, they're in between the numbers as well. So as you can hear, it was 2 and 4 and. So I'm going to go over that again. I'm just going to make it a little bit faster. If you don't get it immediately, it's fine. You can go back, you can look over this. Just make sure you get it. So that was at 45 BPM, and what BPM basically stands for is beats per minute. So there'd be 45 of those clicks in 1 minute. So I'm going to put it up 10 to 55, so it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just going to do this one a little bit faster. And again, if it's a little too fast, you can go back to where I did the 45 BPM. Or even if you're having trouble, not just with the speed, but with the strumming pattern in general, you can just pause it, look over this, and just try to get it. So with 55 BPM, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 4, and so that'll be that strum. Again, you're not playing anything on that beat 3. So I'll just go through this again. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 4, and. And for the rest, there's a few ways to just mute your string. You don't have to if you don't want to, but just for further lessons, I guess. So what I'm doing is basically with my 3rd finger on this string, I'm taking my 2 other fingers, I'm taking these 2, and whenever my finger's on that string to play the chord, I'm taking these strings and I'm placing them over this. So it'd be down, down, up, up, down, up. And they're actually behind your finger, so even if you were to block out these 3 strings, they're not in front of your 3rd finger, so you could still hear that. You wouldn't hear any of the other ones, but you could hear that last note. So whenever you want to mute it, you want to lift up your finger just a little bit to where you can't hear it. Because like I said at the beginning of the video, if you don't press down hard enough, it will make that sound. So you'd go down, down, up, and then put these fingers down and lift this one up, and then you just mute the sound, and then you go again, up, down, up. So with the metronome again it's 55 BPM. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and So that was 55 BPM. It was still kind of slow, so I am going to put it up just a little bit. And again, if you don't get it, that's fine. You can go back to this one or back to the 45 if that's easier. And again, you can also just pause it, look over it. So this is 65 BPM. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 4, and. So again, you're not playing anything on that 3 beat. The ands go in between the clicks, and the ands are also the up strums. So I'm gonna turn on the metronome, and I'm just gonna do that a few times and just without stopping, and you can just practice along. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and. And again, for that rest, you don't have to mute out your strings. That's just showing, that's just what I was using as an example to help you understand the strumming pattern. But really, you can let the note before that ring out, so you'd have 1, 2, and 4, and. So I didn't mute my strings there because it sounds just fine. Usually, in songs, that strumming pattern is going a little fast, so they usually don't mute that note because it doesn't sound as good. So they're basically going 1, 2, and 4, and. And I guess just one other tip. This one is like a little bit hard, but basically what I was doing, that was just straight notes. And so it's basically going 1, 2, and 4, and. But usually whenever they play, it's something called swing, where the and notes are basically just really quick. So if I were to count up to 4 using ands, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, instead of going straight like that and having them all equal lengths, you'd extend where you say the numbers. You'd go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, if that makes any sense. So the and notes would basically just be really quick. So strumming that with this, it'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And so you don't have to, if it's a little too hard, you don't have to, but usually that's the kind of style they would use for this strum. So I guess just go really slow. It's down, down, up, up, down, up. So all the up strums are just really quick. And again, if I weren't to do this and I was just doing straight notes, it'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And you can just practice that too. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay. So that is about everything that we can go over in this lesson. So just make sure to practice some of the strumming patterns. You can find them in songs. Some might be different, but they'll be fine. You can basically do whatever with those chord patterns. Okay. So just keep practicing. Don't mess up your ukulele. The strings are very fragile, and when tuning, don't mess with the knobs a whole lot. Once you get that sound, just try not to mess with them as much, because if you make it too loose, the string can pop off, and then if you make it too tight, the string can just break. Because these strings are made of nylon, which they can break pretty easily. So just be careful. Make sure to practice this. Make sure to get your chord shape, which is C, which is your third finger on the 3rd fret of the string furthest away from you, very tip of your finger on there. Okay. So, again, practice. Ukulele is not a toy, it's an instrument. So, bye. Thank you.